This week's project is a pine pocket hole sofa table. I've got a solid pine top, two spacious drawers for storage. There's about 6 inches of depth in both of these. A nice shelf on the bottom for storage, and all 4 of these legs are tapered on 2 sides. So stick around and we'll get started on this project by gluing up some 2x4s for the legs. I've milled my legs all down to 2 inches by 2 inches by 31 inches tall. And not only are these going to have a slight taper on 2 sides, I also need, from 6 inches off the bottom, I need a mortise in the inside corner of all 4 of these legs. And that's going to accept this bottom panel. With all the mortises cut on these legs, I can start working on the taper. And I need to taper 2 sides of this leg on the 2 sides that the mortise is located on. What I have here is a piece of 3/4 inch melamine shelving, and I've drilled a series of holes on the bottom side for some T-nuts. That way I could use some threaded rod to create some posts to work with. Now I've already clamped down these 2 pieces of wood. Combined with these 2 and this fence down here, I've got a repeatable location so that I start my cut 10 inches from the top of the leg, and I'm removing a 1/2 inch material down here at the bottom. To hold it in place, I've got a couple more of these little spacer blocks to add to it, and just clamp it down. I went ahead and cut my pieces for the face frame of this table. Now my outside pieces all the way around are 1.5 inches wide. The centerpiece is 2 inches wide, and it's spaced so that once I put my drawer fronts on here, I will have an even reveal all the way around and right in the middle. But I've got all my pieces face down, and I'm just going to go ahead and mark on my pieces where I need to drill for the pocket holes. I'm going to use some scrap 3/4 inch plywood for the structural part of the sides and the back. With all these structural components done, it's a good time for me to kind of make a mock-up assembly to kind of get a feel of what this thing is going to look like, see if I want to make any changes real quick. I don't. I'm happy with it, so now I can finish cutting all these pocket holes and putting the whole thing together. What I have here is just a Lowe's project panel is what they call them. This is basically, I believe this is spruce, it's not pine. There's basically a bunch of small strips glued together, and you can buy these pre-assembled, ready to go. This is going to save me a lot of time. Typically I would cut my own pieces, glue them together, plane them down, and make my own panels out of them. However, I'm really pressed for time for this project, so the extra few dollars that this costs totally makes sense to save me some time. This is going to be the bottom shelf and the topmost surface on this sofa table. I cut these mortises on the legs to accept this bottom shelf during assembly, and just glue would be fine for this, but I want to add a little bit more strength. So what I'm going to do is on the bottom side of these shelves, I'm going to use my little Craig Mini, I think is what it's called, just a small little Craig jig, to create a pocket hole on a diagonal going from the center of the shelf into the center of the leg. I'm cutting a shallow groove near the top of the inside of all my side pieces, and this is to accept some hold down blocks that I'll use to secure the top surface. I'm going to start my assembly with the short sides. So I've got a couple of these 1/4 inch spacer blocks because I want all four sides, I want them to be inset a 1/4 inch from the legs. I also have a 3/4 inch spacer I'm going to add because I'm going to add 3/4 inch molding once this is all put together. And then I can add my side piece. I'm just going to clamp this in place and screw it down. Next comes the bottom shelf, and it gets glued and screwed in place. I'm going to use this scrap piece of 3/4 inch plywood to make all four sides of my drawers. Now the drawer is going to have a false front, so I can put this thing together with pocket hole screws. The screws in the front will be hidden by the false front, and the screws on the back of the drawer will be facing the back, so you'll never see them unless you pull the drawer completely out. That series of passes in the table saw just created this nice little groove down at the bottom of all my pieces on the inside of my drawers for the bottom panel to sit in place. This is going to be a floating bottom panel that will just sit in place. Now this is the front, obviously that's the side. Now the back piece, I'm going to cut off right at this groove right here. That way I can assemble the drawer and then slide the bottom panel in and secure it to the bottom of the back piece. Cut a couple scrap pieces of plywood that I'm going to use for the bottoms of these drawers. To secure the bottom in place, I'm going to use a Craig screw right in the middle. Cut a couple pieces of 2x4 here. This one's got an L shape on both sides, and this is going to go right in the middle. It's going to be secured with the pocket hole screws from below, and what this is going to do is it's going to give me a resting surface for the drawer to go against on the bottom, and also a vertical surface for the drawer to track perpendicular to the drawer front. To make the drawer fronts, I'm just cutting up this 1x10 pine. I've got a little bit more material than what I actually need, so I can be a little bit more selective as far as the actual piece that I use for each drawer front. I'm going to attach these to the drawer boxes from the inside with a few screws. On these tables, typically I would use pocket hole screws to secure the top to the table itself. But I chose to use an 1.5 inch width for my face frame, which doesn't allow me enough room for the pocket holes. You can see here I've drawn a little black line at the endmost point of this pocket hole location, screwing in this direction. Well, if I was screwing up into the tabletop itself, you can see that my hole would be way down here. We can't do that because I don't have enough material here. So instead, what I've done is made this groove all the way around the entire table. And you see this a lot in tables of this size. And what that allows me to do is cut this little profile into another piece of wood. This is a test piece, so I still have to cut it down to size. But I can slide this, once I have these little blocks made, I can slide it into this groove. And as you can see, this top surface is lower than this side surface, which means I will not bottom out. And with my little block here, I can drill a hole in the middle, put my tabletop on top of this, and secure it from the bottom. With the top piece cut to size, both of my drawers finished and ready for a profile, it's now time to work on the last final touches. And because this drawer front is going to have a chamfer on all 4 sides, this top piece is going to have a chamfer on 3 sides, I want to dress up this side a little bit. It looks kind of boring. So I'm going to put some probably 1 inch wide, 3/4 inch thick molding in there, just the same way you would do like a picture frame, and have a little chamfer on the inside of that. Well, that wraps up this week's project. This is proportionately for the size of a sofa table. That's what I'm going to call it, as a sofa table. However, this is going to go in someone's bathroom. This was requested to be unfinished, and the person who bought it is going to finish it themselves. So I have absolutely no clue what this is going to end up looking like. Hopefully I'll get a picture within a week or two and post it on the website so you guys can see. If you like this project and you want to see more like it, click that subscribe button over there. If you want to see more videos like this, there's 4 videos down below that you can click on as well. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching.